Hello, welcome to my shop. My name is Tracy Maxfield and this is Hammer Down Woodworking. Sometime back, several months ago, I done a tool review over a dovetail jig, quarter cable dovetail jig, and I got a lot of responses on that, a lot of positive responses on that video. Personally, I didn't think it was that great. Of course, I'm more tool and work savvy than I am tech savvy, so doing videos is really not my thing. But we do want to share our information. As you can see, I have the DW735 and the DW734 thickness planers mounted here side by side. And today, that one is straight out of the box. I've had this one for some time, and today we're going to do a straight out of the box comparison of that one with this one and let you know what I think about it. Okay, first we're going to go over a few things, and then we'll plane a board through each one, and hopefully you can see on camera the results of that, sending a piece of lumber through each thickness planer. I want to cover first, before we do that, the differences between these two. Both of them spin at about 10,000 RPM. This one right here has 13-inch cut width on it. This one right here has 12, I think it's 12 and a half, yeah, 12 and a half on this one. To be fair to both planers, of course, like I said, this one's out of the box. I sent one board through this twice, and I'll tell you the outcome of that in a little bit. But I have sent a lot of lumber through this one. And to be fair to this planer, comparing it to this one, I have went in and cleaned everything up, took everything out, new blades, so it's, other than time and dust, that's all this one has going against it versus this one. Like I said, it does have new knives in it. When I sent a board through this 735, I did get snipe on both ends of it, on both ends of the board, and the only thing that I can figure out that would be causing that is the Platen. It has no outfeed table, no infeed table like the 734 does. It does have the threaded mounts on all four corners to put those on it. It just does not have them. I have seen a few of these that the operator, the owner of them, has took MDF and extended the bed, put a cleat on the bottom of it so it don't suck the MDF through the planer with the material as you're planing it. This one right here, this one has a feature that this one doesn't, that I really like. It has a locking mechanism on it. Let me set the camera over here where I can show you what I'm talking about if you're not familiar. Now, hopefully you can see that. You see these braces that runs across here, they're spring loaded. When you push this down, and it has the exact same thing on the other side, it spreads that out, putting pressure against the post that holds the planer motor on it, and blades and rollers. The whole mechanism is in here. This spreads out, kicking pressure back to these posts, and it stabilizes that. And as long as your infeed and outfeed table is level, flat with the Platen, I get very little to no snipe with this planer. And here's another look at it from the other side. You can see how that pulls down, kicks this out, putting pressure on these four posts, and that stabilizes that. And that does reduce snipe. Both planers have a material removal gauge on it. This one is right under here, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but this gauge moves it up and down. If you do use that, just know that that is nowhere else but in that spot. There's nothing else anywhere. There's just a little lip that sticks down that operates that gauge. On the 735, you can see here, it's all the way across. So if you're sending just a 2-inch board, sending a bunch of 2-inch boards through, no matter where it hits it, you can see that it moves it. It's all the way across that. I like that feature to that. Now, the 734 has this that reduces snap. What this one has that this one don't is it has 2 speeds. This slows your in-feed rate down, setting it on 1. Changes, 1 is 179 cuts per inch and 2 is 96 cuts per inch. And what that will do is give you a better finish on most your woods. If you're doing some very hard wood, oak, hickory, a lot of it, your exotic woods, figured wood with a lot of figure in it, such as maple, you would probably want to set that on 1 anyway and slow that speed rate way down to begin with. If you're just milling up alder, pine, things of that nature, basswood, you can set that on 2 and grind that down pretty quick. Another thing that they both have a depth gauge that you can set. If you wanted to go down to an 1/8 inch, you can go down to an 1/8 inch over here, but you're going to go all the way down nearly against the Platen with it, and you probably will this one too. I'll be afraid to put anything trying to plane it down to an 1/8 inch thick. If you're going to do that, I would suggest putting another piece of wood, piece of plywood, some sacrificial wood in under it, and using carpet tape or some type of double-sided tape. Put that thin strip on top of that, and then use your thickness gauge or calipers or whatever you need to use in order to get that down to the thickness, and then you can peel that off your other wood. Something that thin, you may not want to use carpet tape, because carpet tape is very, very strong, and you will probably bust something all to pieces trying to get them apart. It's just an 1/8 inch thick. But it does have that. It's a 1/8 inch, quarter, 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch, and 1 1/4 inches. And of course you can change in between those settings with this right here. This is a 734. 0 will let your blades go all the way down, and you have a 1/4 inch, 1/2, and 3/4, and then you're back to 0. That's the only depth stops that you have on the 734, which I have never needed anything but those. If I'm milling something to 5/8, I will plane it down to 3/4 if I'm using the depth stop, which I do use that quite a bit, and then I will just use calipers, and when I get so close that I'm afraid to send it through for another one, I'll take that last little bit off on the joiner. As far as up and down operation, either one of them will give you a workout. I don't know if one of them is a faster speed rate or up and down or not than the other one. They feel and act and look and everything seems like they are pretty close together on that, which is a good thing. You don't want to turn one turn and that either one of those drop a 1/2 inch. I haven't set the gauges up on that one. This one right here has been set, and it does have a marker on the top of this handle that tells you how much each turn or partial turn is lowering it. Plus you have this. This one does not have this up here. Now this is the feed bed, the Platen underneath the 735. The 734 does not have this. But if you see these plates, and there's one on both sides, right here, and they feed down through a slot on each side. There's a slot that those will go down through. And I did find that when I got this one, that it did not line up with on this side, that slot. It does now. I had to fix that. It actually was hitting the side and you could hear it catching and then popping. It was catching just on the edge of it. So if you get one of these 735s and you start rolling it down and you hear something pop, sounds like something breaks, check that. That might be what it is. This is the back side of both planers. This is a 734. This one's a 735. This one has a 2-inch dust port out of Shroud. This one has a 2 or a 4. It's still, even if you put a 4-inch line on it, you're only getting 2-inch pipe, because this is not open in here. Just know that. So if you have 2-inch pipe and you hook it up to it, you're just as well off as you would be if you put a 4-inch on it, because this is solid back in here all the way around. It's just made that way so you can put a 4-inch connector on it, but you only have that 2 inches in the center. This one also has a blower on it. When you feed material through it, there is a blower in it that does help force that out, which will help your vacuum with taking that onto your container. That one does not have a blower on it, and that dust shroud on that one over there, if you're milling something such as pine, it can and will and has clogged. There's 3 screws that has to be taken out in order to get that shroud off of it. The thing that I found about it, on the inside of that shroud, there's only a small gap all the way across that is able to pull material out. And sometimes, very, very seldom, I do have to say it's very seldom, but sometimes I have had that to get clogged. If your vacuum system is stronger than what mine is, now I use a shop vac and a dust deputy, and if you have something that is more powerful and it's pulling that stuff before it ever has a chance to build up in it, because planer does put off a lot of debris. If you have something that is pulling hard enough to keep that clear, you may never have issues with that. I very seldom do, but over the course of 2 or 3 years, I think that I've had that one, I've had that clogged maybe twice. It's not real bad, and that's the reason why that they are setting now where they're setting, which is closest to the vacuum, and it pulls harder. It's not having to pull the whole line in order to get the material off of that. So if you have a good strong vacuum, you will probably be all right with a 735. If you're using a shop vac, you may have issues like I have. It's not that bad. It's 3 screws to take it out. It is aggravating when you're getting in the groove and working and not wanting things to stop and have to stop and clean that out. But like I said, it is very seldom even using what I have. All right, now we're going to run, this is just a piece of pine, and I have marked it all over so you can see what's taken off. And this does have kind of a cup in it. This is cupped up. So it may just get what's in the center. I don't know, but we're going to send this through the DW35, and then we'll mark it again, let you see what it does to it, and then we'll mark it again and we'll send it through the 734 and let you see the difference. If there is a difference, there may not be one. There is no dust collection. I didn't hook the dust line up to that one. I blew that stuff everywhere. But as you can see, there is snipe. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is snipe right here, and there is snipe right there. I hope you can see that on camera. Let me do it like that. Maybe you can see it. Look in this area right here. And there's snap right here. Now we're going to use this same piece of wood. And we're going to use the 734. Alright, and we're back. Just as I was looking for my remote for my dust collection, my card got full, but we're still right where we left off at. This is the board. You can still see, I hope you can see, the snipe on each end. We just remarked it. We're going to send this one back through. I hope I've cut down deep enough to get the snipe out of this one, so if this one produces snipe, you'll see it. Maybe that'll get it. There's still snipe here on both ends, and I think that is left over from the 735. I'm going to mark this one again and send it through. It's not changing anything other than giving this one a chance to get rid of the snipe and not leave any or leave some. So there's that one. You can see the snipe still there. I think that's from that one, and it's still pretty deep. So we're going to mark it again, send it back through again. Hopefully we can get that out. That's actually pretty deep because it's still there. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. You can use your own judgment on it. The overall comparison between the two, they both do a fine finished job. That is just as smooth as it can be, just like it was coming off of that one. I'm still having a little bit of snipe here and there. I don't know if it's that one that's creating it or if it's left over from that one. I do know that I've run this one for a couple, I think at least 2 years, if maybe not longer, and I have not had much snipe issues out of that one. I do get some, you will get some on these benchtop planers, but I haven't had a real big issue. It's never been anything that I couldn't take it over to the joiner and take that last pass and get rid of that snipe and land on my measurement anyway. So there that is. You have the same motor speed. Both of them are 10,000 RPMs. That one has 2-speed, this one don't. This one has a locking mechanism, that one don't. This one is 12.5 inches, that one's 13 inches. Both of them have 2-inch dust port, but that one has a blower on it. This one has in-feed and out-feed, that one doesn't. Maybe if put an in-feed and out-feed table on that one, use a sheet of MDF like most people do, that might help some with the snipe. But it is pretty deep. The snipe is pretty deep with that one versus this one. You could actually probably, what's there, if this planer caused that, you could probably sand that out. It's not bad at all. That'll do it for today's video. I hope some of that information maybe is helpful. Might help you in making up your mind which one you want to buy. Another difference is too, that 735, I believe, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can upgrade that one to a helical head, Helix or something. The other one, I do not think that you can. The 734, I do not think that you can upgrade to a helical head, and I may be wrong on that too. So research that if it's something that you're interested in before buying either one of those. Check and see if they will do that, if that is something that you think you may want to do. but I'm pretty sure the 735 does. The 734, I don't think it does, but I may be wrong on that, so be sure to research that. Also, before we go, let's do a little what's on the bench. One of the things I have here is a desk lamp with a clamp on it. This will work on most of your power tools. I know I use it a lot. On my bandsaw, it will clamp right on the edge of my table. It's 110 volt. '21 LED, and I can take a piece of wood, clamp it down, and put it right on my bench for cutting dovetails or anything like that. There's the clamp I was using with that board that we were using for an example a minute ago. Also another product, and these are not affiliated with me any at all, it's just something that I use, stuff I had laying on the bench. This is Orange Tools Cleaner CMT. I've used this several times and it really works good if you want to check that out and give that a try. It's a blade and bit cleaner. You can actually, on the directions it says for best results, spray on the tool surface and allow to soak in for a few minutes, wipe clean with a cloth or rag or sponge. The way that I do it is I will spray it on both sides, like my table saw blade for example. I will spray it on both sides of my table saw blade, let that lay for about 10 minutes, and then I take not a steel brush, but a copper brush and brush backwards from the way that the teeth are on the blade, and it takes it off. And I will take a paper towel or a shop rag and just wipe the excess off. I don't clean it off. I've not had any trouble with rust or anything. It says that it will not, it helps in the protection of rust and corrosion. So take that for what it's worth and give that a try if you're interested in it. It's by Orange Tools. It's CMT. It's not very expensive. I think something like $10 to $15 for a bottle of it that size, and a bottle that size will last a long time. The other item laying on the bench is a folding measuring tape, and I do use this a lot. If you do any type of cabinetry work, I know a lot of people have mentioned the 2-stick trick. Take 2 sticks and some type of spring clamp. I will be right back in just a second. And when you want to know the exact width of inside a cabinet, you put your sticks in there, butt this one up to that side, butt this one up to this side, and then clamp it, and then you've got that exact measurement. That's a lot to hang on to in some tight places, and I have found that a folding rule works best for that. You can fold it to whatever you need. Stick this corner in a corner, and then just slide that out to your other corner or wall, whatever you're measuring inside. Pinch it with your finger, hold it, then you can clamp it back up, move it back in to get it out of where you're working at, and then you've got your measurement. If you were at, so just say for example, you had this folded out to the 19, and you slid this out to say 4 1/8. Just add your 19 and your 4 1/8 to it, and that will be your inside measurements. And this goes in and out of cabinetry or cabinet style furniture real easy, and it's handy. To me, it's more handy than this. Anyway, there's that. If you like this content, hit that like and subscribe button. Sure would appreciate it. And until next time, thanks for watching.